Hands up. Last thing I remember, my hands was up. I used them like antenna trying to channel God's attention. Turned my body into a mannequin. Held my breath just in case it was my last one. Prayed to everyone I love so my memory can exist in their spirit. Another sad story. Name struggle. He grew up with nothing, kicked out, left the hustle. Yeah, another. Go figure. Red and blue, one trigger. These stories are stacking up. Questions unanswered, mental hammered, push it to the side. We have bigger issues to dismantle. But this is life. So why matter? Why exist? Why try? Why do I even write? To educate, they don't appreciate. They close their ears as soon as I want to demonstrate. The tears don't shake them. Their feelings are only temporary. Often showed in crowded rooms, camera zooms, but who am I to assume? Wake up. Smell the dead bodies laid across your front lawn. We're serving oppression for breakfast. Turn on the TV. See my death played in rotation while you sip your coffee of entitlement. See my innocent body shot in cold blood and judge the way the chalk stained the sidewalks. See, this fight is nothing new. Way before the dark colors of blue knew how to shoot, chains and whips tore our threads into two. Once in motherland, forced over water, drowned in sorrow, the birth of a nation, poison at creation. And who am I but a fallen dedication? I said, hands up! The world is ending right before our eyes, and no, it wasn't a tsunami big enough to wash away the sins, or no heat wave hot enough to melt the agony, but hatred heavy enough to stop heartbeats meant to last a lifetime, and ruin households meant to be a foundation. I said, hands up! Your life is on the line.
In a world where opinions matter, I find myself struggling for air or even a sentence that cares. After spending so much time shouting for those rights were wrong or is that wrong was right, I find myself struggling without a mantra to fight. I thought as long as I had something to say, my voice carried, held weight, and would never leave, never stray. Minutes pass, days don't last, filled with memories fade. Trapped in this void, last tired alone, but definitely not alone. Destiny escapes, threatened by eternal mistakes. So close, but so far away. I find myself thinking, don't give up. Truth is, I never stopped believing. I just became tired of those thieving. I only care about myself, missing the point, or maybe that is the point. It's not that. Tired of keeping this under a hat. Lost in thought, silent planning, regaining momentum, sticking to the commitment. Poem, Nichole Shirell. Nichole Shirell. Nichole Shirell.
They they asking what is Black History Month, and I I feel like I got to be the one to tell them. So black is more than a color. It's more than a race. Black is history, the world's history, and it can't be erased. I know how to talk proper English, but I'm not from England, so more than likely I'll be speaking my slang. I can't help it that I slur my words or talk with a twang. I'll still keep it professional, but yes, they gonna know it's black blood in my veins. I put black thought in this black art. It's really coming from a black heart. I was in a dark space in a black hole. Now I'm singing poems like I'm Blackstreet. Out the concrete grew a black rose. B stands for beautiful, boisterous, bold, brilliant. L stands for legendary, loyal, love, limitless. A stands for amazing, ambitious, astounding, authentic. C stands for courageous, creative, clever, confident. K stands for kings, knowledge, kindness, keen. So to sum it all up, Black history is me.
Selective outrage. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my gosh darn goodness! It seems like whenever I go on someone's post or page, all I see is some selective outrage. Hooting and hollering, yelling, screaming, sound like that fool on ESPN. You know who I'm talking about? I can't believe it. I'm gonna do just sit down somewhere. Now, let's just have a conversation instead of all that hooting and hollering and gyrating and pounding on your chest and oh, this is a problem. Oh, I feel some type of way. Blah, 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 blah. Just stop. First off, you're hurting my eardrums with that noise. Sound like a clanging gong cymbal, and when you peel away the noise, you make no damn sense. Yeah, I said D-A-Y-U-M. Damn sense. And then what are you complaining about? Because you're not going to do anything. You know the type. Twitter fingers. Then, of course, you think you use a couple of big words to try to pontificate. Can't even spell pontificate, let alone know what it means. So what on earth are you truly complaining about or outraged about? Let's look at a couple of examples and see how hollow all of us really are when it comes to things that we're really concerned about or it's a burning issue. I don't know. Let's go with sports entertainment. Here's a good one. I stand with Cap. I stand with Cap. He was done wrong. But then, of course, some of y'all was like, oh, he was mediocre. Well, you look at his last season as a starter, he had a touchdown interception ratio of 4-1. A good quarterback is 3-1. Then you've got someone in Chicago who is a franchise pick. Can't even tie his shoes straight. University of no class. Yeah, I said it. Sorry about it, but hey, that's a fact. Oh, but then there's the Rooney Rule, which on paper sounds like a good idea. You know, at least you have to interview someone of a non-Caucasian background. But look at the people who got hired. You had a special teams coach. Wasn't all that special because last time I checked, their team got knocked out in the first round. But yet he's the head coach of the They Might Be Giants. Oh, but wait, you're going in and making it that type of issue. Tony Dungy got a job. Yeah, Tony Dungy, after being changed from playing quarterback to defensive back, lasted a couple years in the league, was an assistant coach under legendary Chuck Noll and all these other people. And then his first job was at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Rhymes with Ducks. Because that team was a cesspool before he got there. Oh, what about Marvin Lewis? He never won a playoff game. You're right. He never did win a playoff game. But the majority of his seasons, they were winning. How'd that firing turn out? Because last time I checked, Cincinnati tanked. Bombed. Not the bomb. Bombed as in you want to blow that up and start over again. Oh, let's get off of sports because, okay, so selective outrage. What are y'all complaining about now? I can't believe that somebody would intentionally just start a war for no reason. Well, ask the 3 out of 5 females who felt that the areas that he grabbed weren't that big of an issue because he got elected anyway. So stop it. We didn't think he was that bad, no. Well, let's see, when you have lawsuits regarding housing discrimination, you bankrupt an entire football league, your airplanes go under, your school that wasn't accredited in the first place went under. And let's see, there's that convenient full-page ad where he called for people maimed and lynched. Oh, they lynch black folk in America? Yes, they still do. Never apologized for it. So the man showed you who he was, and you should have believed him. And you didn't. This ain't Kansas where you click your heels and the problems go away. You got to roll up your sleeves, gosh darn it. And apparently some of you hadn't. Oh, get off of politics. Okay, we'll get off of politics. Here's a good one. Education. Education is the passport to the future. It sure is, but there's something called shared accountability. Let me explain how it works. You have the student who needs to be held accountable for, showing up, being as locked in, as engaged as possible, blah, blah, blah. But there are some who are disengaged, some who think the school is a club. This ain't the Mickey Mouse Club. This is business. And I get there's a couple of gaps in there, so we're going to pivot to the educators who can't really follow best practices half the time because they are bursting at the seams in the classroom. Then on top of that, I hate to say it, you got a few that do not have folks' best interests at heart. If people will vote for somebody who clearly is talking maniacally, chances are some of them don't have your kid's best interests at heart, which means, oh, there's parental engagement. And not engagement when it's the 9th hour and you're wondering if there's some miracle wonder drug extra credit piece that will help your child out. Now, I get it if you don't know any, you don't know stuff. You know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. But be a part of it instead of apart from it. That's a darn problem. And then administrators who are trying as hard as possible. Some of them aren't. Some of them are there from day to day and they're like, this is the way I did it. But you know what? You have to make adjustments. You know those things, learning styles, learning preferences. Does that kind of sound familiar? Differentiate instruction, meet someone where they are, give them a slightly moderate challenge. So as their skill sets grow, and they can be more engaged. Did you kind of remember that, folks? So there's a couple of things where the problem is pretty simple, but it's complex because we will go ahead and draw attention to the problem and draw attention to ourselves. And hoot and holler. Oh, and as for King Loudmouth, you know who I'm talking about. I'm going to get on him in a little bit. Hooting and hollering about, I did that. No, you didn't. Just stop. We know you sold your soul out for the ratings. Just stop it. I don't care what things you've tried to add on to it. Last time I heard, you don't even know your history. Something has to do with purple and gold. Oops, did I let that slip? Yeah, I sure did. And we can go ahead and meet. See what's what. Selective outrage. We might not be able to fight every single battle, but there are some battles we have to be willing to fight. And understanding that in fighting those battles, we might not be at the end of the line. We might not see that solution. That's a very hard pill to swallow. It's a very tough reality. But without going too deep, somebody thought enough of their outrage that it didn't need to be selective, knowing that they might not see it come to fruition. I don't know. There's so many cases. I don't know. Gender equity, women's suffrage, civil rights. How about in contemporary times? Our special needs community, things along those lines, because I guarantee folks that might have been in a wheelchair or something along those lines, they weren't exactly greeted in the most complimentary way. There's some tough battles to fight. I know I fall short. I'll admit it. And there is fear of the unknown. There's fear of being really out there in the front lines and really go ahead and speaking the truth and doing it consistently and peeling away all the layers and breaking apart paradigms, in some cases breaking apart people's existence or being, because you've disturbed them at the core. You've made them look at the mirror and they don't like what they see, from the historical ramifications to when they walk into the department store and they clutch that purse a little bit tighter, or they look a little bit different, or I don't know, they call the police because someone is selling a bottle of water. What are them folks doing out there? They're not supposed to do that. But last time I checked, you're not calling them when they tear up a goalpost when a team wins a game. Oh, but that's celebrating. We got insurance to protect that. Stop with the selective outrage. Maybe it just needs to be conditional outrage. Hey, this is something that is passionate to me, but I'll go ahead and put a disclaimer that I might not see it all the way. I might just pontificate, maybe sound good, maybe get a couple people in the inbox and the DMs and go ahead and, I won't say bust a cap in them, but you can use your imagination. One of those, if your left leg is Thanksgiving, right leg is Christmas, can I get together with you between the holidays type of mess? Yeah, some of y'all be flossing and flossing poorly. Real poorly. But let's get back to the topic, selective outrage. Can we fight every battle? Maybe not. So maybe acknowledge that these are the battles you are choosing to fight and go where the battle takes you. Now, it doesn't mean you run into an oncoming car or something foolish like that, but understand that when we take on these battles, it's not going to be smooth sailing. It'll be as smooth as sandpaper. It'll be rougher than that, I don't know, that paper that you struggled writing, that essay you tried to go ahead and turn in, knowing that it wasn't your best. Maybe that struggle might be running on E, the red light comes on and you only have a mile left and it's 2 miles to the gas station. You're not trying to push back and whatever. Maybe it might be when you think about when you're a little kid, that mean old person in the neighborhood, just mean for no reason, mean and ornery. But let's pause for a minute and let's really think about what we're truly outraged about and what lengths we're going to go to. Well, there's an imminent threat. Well, if it's such an imminent threat, why don't you take your butt over there? Exactly, because you're not going to do it. Those people, they're just not, and they don't, well, if you feel so strongly about it, maybe you should go volunteer. Or maybe you should walk where they walk, talk where they talk, see the disconnects are really there, and then wonder why they haven't done anything worse or worser. So quit with the selective outrage. And as a note, the loudest person in the room ain't the smartest. The person that always wants to do pomp and circumstance ain't walking in line and walking in step. Besides, I like my eardrums. All that hooting and hollering. You can be passionate, but if that's the only way you can be passionate, I don't know, you might need to go back to class. Go, I don't know, what do they have? Tutoring, extra help, coaching maybe? Coaching. Again, be honest with what we're really bothered by. Be honest to identifying the lengths that we're going to go to see if we can make things better, not just for self, but making the biggest positive impact possible on as many people as possible, and not just for your darn self. Because you do something like that, it's like going to a bee's nest, tipping it, and then complaining why you got stung. Selective. You can be outraged, but be upfront.